So we just got Andor episode 5, and if you've seen the episode then you'll know that there's very little to break down. Yes, there were a couple of Easter eggs, but the plot itself is pretty self-explanatory. Having said that, this is right where the show needs to be, and in my opinion the most human episode of the series so far, and we really can't discount the importance of good build-up, dialogue, and the nuance in what the themes are adding to the quality of the show. At face value, this was definitely one of the more slow episodes. Now, I've seen a few fans say it was boring and pointless, but I disagree. Looking at the bigger picture, it was definitely a setup for what's to come. Now, the most surprising thing about this episode is that we didn't get the dinner party scene with Mon Mothma. There's a bit of ambiguity as to whether it's even happened yet or not, notably in the nighttime taxi scene on Coruscant. It's unclear if this is before or after the party. In my opinion, the dinner scene hasn't even happened yet, and the biggest clue is that in the Andor trailer, we do see a party taking place. Mon Mothma is wearing orange, and there are numerous guests at her apartment. So for fans disappointed that we didn't see Sly more, that's probably going to happen next week. And this episode, as I say, seems like a big setup for the payoffs that are coming next week in episode 6. Now in this episode we meet Leda, Mon Mothma and Perrin's daughter, which discredits the theory that Vel is Mon Mothma's daughter, which I did cover the other day, and to be honest, I'm quite happy about that, because the two of them being related did seem like a bit of a stretch. As has been the case with the previous 4 episodes, Andor episode 5 once again brings more Earth-like aspects to the Star Wars universe, and I'm not too sure how I feel about this at times. Sometimes it works, and other times it doesn't. It feels too real. My rule is pretty simple: as long as it doesn't take you out of the Star Wars universe and remind you of Earth, it's generally okay. I particularly really enjoyed the 2 breakfast cereal scenes, and considering we're in the galaxy far, far away, you've got to have some good old blue milk. Overall, I found the acting in this episode outstanding. I know I've said that pretty much every week, but it's so true. Diego Luna shines as always, but it was great to see the episode highlight some other talents, the actors who play the partisans for example. Now for me, the absence of Stellan Skarsgård's character Luthen for the majority of this episode and later inclusion at the end proves how vital and needed he is in this series. Apart from Genevieve O'Reilly and Diego Luna, in my opinion, Luthen has been carrying this show forward single-handedly for the last couple of episodes. While a lot of this episode could have been condensed and edited down, the building of tension is its purpose, and I trust Tony Gilroy with the story he needs to tell. I'm still fully on board. The highlights for me were threefold. First of all, seeing the home life of Cyril Khan and where his insecurities originate, the fact that his mother is disappointed in him, but is now helping to get him work, shadowing his uncle. This is likely the pathway for him eventually getting in touch with Dedra Meero and becoming part of the ISB. Secondly, the build up to the heist on Aldhani, as the partisans set up camp, and thirdly, going back to Luthen, seeing some of his vulnerability. Up until this point he's been confident, brave and calculated, but seeing him regretful and nervous ahead of what he sent Andor to do is reflective of the brilliant versatility of Stellan Skarsgård's acting. So as a standalone episode, I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10, just because of how great the quality and storytelling has been until this moment, and I'm sure when we get next week's episode, and eventually when all the episodes are out, and we can look back at the season as a whole, the pacing is going to make a lot more sense. Despite slow moments, I was thoroughly entertained and truly impressed by the cinematography, acting, and general experience as a Star Wars fan. The title, The Axe Forgets, is probably the most humanizing aspect of the episode. It's a reference to what Skeen tells Andor: the axe forgets, but the tree remembers. The different partisans are there for many different reasons, each with their own story and personal rationale for fighting the Empire. And it shows that whatever those reasons, there is a human being and a life behind everyone who's fought for or against the Empire. It's a deep message that was handled really well, and quite subtly too. So those are my thoughts, my dear friends. That's pretty much where my head is at right after seeing it. I'm so excited for what episode 6 will bring, because hopefully that's going to fulfill the payoffs that we were expecting this week. Now, before I go, we actually have some exclusive Andor Season 2 news. Over the last few weeks, we've been discussing the various parts of the characters in this show, which ones are going to live, and those who will likely die by the time of Rogue One. Tony Gilroy himself even teased that characters are going to meet their fates in this show, even as early as Season 1. Now, one character we speculated about is Bix. We've not seen her in a couple of episodes. She is, of course, Andor's ex, who was prominent in the first 3, and even though we went back to Ferrix in this week's episode, we didn't see her. She's probably still mourning the death of Tim, but in either case, Adria Arjona has inadvertently confirmed that she's not going to die this season, and we are going to see her in Season 2. This comes exclusively from Bespin Bulletin, and they say the following. We're only a few weeks into Andor, and its second season is just a month away from filming in the UK. While fans are preoccupied with the current season, the cast and crew have their eyes fixed on what's to come in the second part of the 24-episode series, and Bix Kalleen actress Adria Arjona may have just let slip during an interview with Collider that she and her character are returning in season 2. When chatting with Collider, Arjona talked about the creative process of forming Bix as a character, and how the showrunner and writer of the series, Tony Gilroy, operates, and just how collaborative the process really is. And it was during this segment of the interview that Arjona let slip that she's been told the details of what's going to happen with the character in the second season. Here is the full quote. He, referring to Tony Gilroy, was very open to conversations and is constantly telling me what her journey is going to be like, and oh, I changed this a little bit. He really kept me in the loop even before the scripts were done, and the second he had a script out, we, the cast, would all get it first. And here is the juicy bit. She says, even now with the second part of the series, he's already told me what's going to happen, and that's not usual. He just really wants you to get into that mindset and start preparing your gears to sort of embark on this new journey. And he wants you to think on your own as Bix, so I can sort of have my own ideas and opinions. So hearing that Adria Arjona and Tony Gilroy have had conversations regarding Bix's role, it means that she's going to make it out of this season with her life, but it doesn't mean that she's going to live until Rogue One. It's very likely she is going to die in season 2. As for right now, we don't know where Bix's story is heading. She's still residing on Ferrix, following the aftermath of the Primal Security and Cassian showdown, which resulted in the death of her lover Tim. We know from various trailers and TV spots we are going to see Bix again, and promotional material even appears to show Bix being interrogated by Dedra Moreau, and we know that Dedra is really cracking down on the situation. Big spoiler warning, but another character we can expect to see in season 2 is Luthen Rail, because Stellan Skarsgård previously revealed that he is returning to the UK this November to film the second season, so 2 of the biggest characters in this show so far are going to be in both seasons. Really exciting stuff, guys. But with that said, my dear friends, that's pretty much all for today's video. I want to know your thoughts on Andor episode 5. Did you enjoy it? Did you not? Share your thoughts and your rating for the episode in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new, hit the bell for notifications. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Star Wars Meg. Have a good one.